Back to another album review. Today's review is on Incesticide from Nirvana. This was Nirvana's first compilation album, and the only compilation album that they released and they were together. Essentially, this is a collection of B-sides, demos, outtakes, covers, and even radio broadcast recordings. This album was recorded at various studios between 88 and 91. Specific recording studios in Seattle, Music Source Studios in Seattle, Smart Studios in Madison, Maida Vale Studio 3 in London, and Maida Vale Studio 4 also in London. Some also had various producers: Jack Endino, Steve Fisk, Butch Vig, Dale Griffin, and Midi Adhikari. The song has also had different drummers: Chad Channing, Dale Crover, Dan Peters, and all the way up to Dave Grohl. The album was released on December 14th, 92 in Europe, and in North America the following day under DGC Records. Work on this album started in 92 when Jonathan Poneman of Sub Pop contacted Gary Gersh of DGC Records and was informed that Sub Pop were in possession of some unreleased early Nirvana recordings. The band were originally going to release the songs through Sub Pop and simply call it Cash Cow. Obviously, this never happened. Songs were eventually sold to DGC under the condition that Nirvana would create and approve of an album by Christmas of 92. As already stated, some of the songs were previously unreleased. However, some of the songs were released on EPs, and others released on other compilation albums. I'll get to that once I talk about the songs. It needs to be mentioned that the front cover was actually painted by Kurt Cobain himself. You notice there's a poppy on the cover, which actually hints at Kurt's heroin addiction. If you take a look at the back, you'll notice there's a rubber duck that was actually owned by Kurt. Now, there are actually some early copies of this album that contain written notes from Kurt, where bringing down racist, homophobic, and misogynistic people, and telling those people not to support the band or attend their concerts. Those copies also came with a parental advisory warning on the label. Obviously, this copy does not have that. Now let's talk about the songs. The album starts with Dive. Now, the song originally appeared on the compilation album called The Grunge Years, which was a limited edition album that was released from Sub Pop and was only limited to 500,000 copies. It was released back in 91. It's also produced by Jack Endino, who also produced Nirvana's debut album, Bleach. That's followed up by Sliver, which was actually released on September 1st, 1990. 1990 was also when the song was initially written. The song was recorded when Dan Peters was the drummer for the band. Now, the lyrics tell a story of a boy who was left with his grandparents by his parents for the day and struggles with eating dinner and playing, as well as wanting to be taken home. Later falls asleep in front of the TV after eating ice cream. Afterwards, he wakes up in the hands of his mother. Now, this later became one of Nirvana's most popular songs and received a music video that was directed by Kevin Kerslake. I'll post a link to the video in the description. Now, I also need to mention that various bands have covered this song. A notable example is Rise Against. The cover would eventually end up on the Long Forgotten Songs, B-sides, and covers, though I already reviewed that album last year. After that is Stain, which first appeared on the Blue EP. After that is Been a Sun, and the version of this song was previously unreleased. It was initially recorded in September of '89 for the Blue EP, and then again in November 2 years later for this album. It's another one of Nirvana's most popular songs. And we're going to be talking about 3 different songs from the Hormoning EP. This EP was released on February 5th, 92, under DGC. The EP was only released in Japan and Australia. Fortunately, all the songs were eventually released in America at later dates. The first song that we're going to talk about here is Turnaround, which is actually a cover of a song from Devo. I've never actually heard the original song, but I do like this cover. Next two songs are Molly's Lips and Son of a Gun, which are covers of songs by the Vaselines. Once again, I've never actually heard the original versions, but I do think these are pretty good covers. Those are followed up by New Wave, which is actually a much faster version of Polly. It's also one of the songs that was previously unreleased. Next song is called Beeswax, which originally appeared on the Kill Up Rockstars punk rock compilation album from '91. Oddly enough, the album was also released under an independent record label of the same name. The album also has songs from the Melvins, along with several other artists. After that is Downer, which was originally on the reissued versions of Bleach. I don't necessarily have to discuss the song since I already discussed it when I reviewed Bleach. Next song is Mexican Seafood, which was originally on the Teriyaki Asthma Volume 1. It's followed up by 4 previously unreleased tracks: Hairspray Queen, Aero Zeppelin, and Bing Long Now. The last song is Aneurysm, which was released as a promo single on October 8th, '96, in order to promote the live compilation album called From the Muddy Banks of the Wichita. I read that Kurt wrote the songs about his ex-girlfriend, Toby Vale. Lyrics also make fun of pop conventions and drug rituals. There's also a music video made for the song, and I'll post a link to that in the description. I saw online that this album was met with mostly positive reviews, and rightfully so. Overall, I do enjoy this album. It may not be quite as good as most of the other albums from Nirvana, but it's still worth listening to, and I certainly recommend it. That's all I have to say on this album. If you like the video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and be sure to hit the notification bell to be notified of future uploads. You can also follow my social media accounts, which are linked in the description, and leave a comment if you like. Thanks for watching. I'll be back on Wednesday with another review.